Hi guys, so welcome back. Hope you're doing good. If you're new, I'm Katie and welcome to another Bookish adventure. So we are doing another reading vlog, and this month I am going to be reading The Death of Skulls and the fourth book in the Harley Merlin series, The First Ritual. She says that full of confidence. So Harley Merlin will be my audiobook for the month and my physical will be The Death of Skulls, and I'm also hoping to read The Woods of Watching, but that won't be included in this. So The Death of Skulls is, I think it's the first more adult book by Kira Millward Hargreaves. I always get it the wrong way around. Anyway, I've read more of her middle grade literature compared to this, so she's always done those books, and then she's brought out this one, and then there's an adult fiction one. The minute I saw she was doing another, like a different, age group, I was like, oh, hello. One thing I will say, there is very little difference in terms of like the writing style for the middle grade in this one, which I really like. That is something that I absolutely adored about the Lemony Snicket books, is that even though they were aimed for a younger audience, and same with Philip Pullman actually, even though, some people argue it's for older readers, some people argue it's for younger readers, something I absolutely adore is just the fact that, by the writing style you can't tell, and it's pretty universal, and I really love the fact that authors don't dumb down the writing for that reason. So to me it doesn't feel any different. So The Death of Skulls is about two sisters who are travellers, and on the day before the divining, the camp decide to stay so that they can have their divining in the morning on their 17th birthday, and that is basically when their gifted kind of seer person, I guess, the person with the gift of sight, will basically tell you what you're going to be doing with your life. And then on the day that it's meant to happen, their camp gets attacked by settled people, and slavers come and take them, and they burn the camp, and basically the kids are taken. So the boys get taken away and the girls are left, and then eventually the girls get separated off because they're basically being sold off by the lord and his slavers, and basically the prince likes twins kind of thing and thinks, novelty, really cool. And they're also looking for bears, and they quite like travellers because travellers domesticate bears quite well, so half the work is taken out for them. So I've gotten to a point where they've been separated from the boys and they have gone off to, I guess, be labourers, and they've been separated from the other girls who were captured, who have gone to go work in the dairy. So because one of the sisters, Kizzy, is quite pretty and she is more of a woman in figure wise, whereas Lil is a little bit more, I think, hasn't quite developed. They're very much like, oh, the prince will like you. So they have been taken off. They're going to work in the kitchens whilst their bruises and wounds heal. Kizzy suffered burns from trying to save her family and also tried to attack the guards, and Lil also got struck across the face, so she's had to have the side of her face stitched back up. So they're gonna work in the kitchen. So far I've literally gotten to that point where they have met some other people who are clearly slaves working in this castle. The dragon, who is Dracula, has been mentioned a little bit. He's kind of like not quite an old legend, an old fable, but he is someone who the travellers are aware of and talk about in their old stories as someone to be feared of. He is someone who takes and uses his slaves and uses them up and dries them out, or something is the line. So it's very clear that it sounds like they're actually in the story that they even says that he fed off the blood of them and now he can live forever. Whether they believe all of that is true, however, he is clearly a looming threat. So I think what is going to happen is that whilst in slavery they meet other girls, and they kind of bond and they live a maybe better, not a better life, but a better life compared to what it could be, because they've got this air of companionship. It sounds like they could be forced into the prostitution route, quite possibly, I don't know, but I think the dragon does buy girls, so there is a chance that they are going to be taken again. I think from kind of what I've gathered, this does sort of sound like a prequel to Dracula in the sense of how he got his brides and where they come from, which is something I think is really cool and really like. And so far I really like the writing style and I like the way it's going. I do wish it was from multiple sisters' point of view. I think I'm just someone who prefers multiple point of views, to be honest. So with Harley Merlin, this is the fourth book now. So after the third, we discovered sort of Catherine's plans in wanting to become a godlike child of chaos, and basically if you're not worthy, she's going to take you down. And the children are still missing. I honestly can't remember if we have found out who was the mole in the coven, but I honestly don't remember. That is just something I just it's been a while. We are still alternating with point of view, so it's Harley and someone else, and I'm very happy to say that this time it is from the human member of the coven. I have been really excited to have the different ones once I realised we were swapping, because we had Tatiana first and then Santana second. So once I realised that it was changing up, as much as I was really desperate to have all her, like, the sort of in her social group, because they all have different backgrounds, they have different magic, and I like that you're getting extra world building coming from their perspective, so you're not just being info-dumped. It's worked really well, and it is a really high point that I love about this series. But yeah, I have really wanted to see her point of view, and I can't remember her name. Astrid, I think it's Astrid. I don't think it is Astrid. Where have I got an Astrid from? Okay, maybe Astrid, I can't remember. I have just wanted her point of view because yeah, she is more human. I want to know how she got, I don't know, I just want to know how she found out this magical world, why she hasn't had her memory wiped, why she's working with them. I'm aware that she has died a couple of times and has been brought back, so I'm really interested to see her relationship with the coven leader. He seems a little bit protective of her. Hers is definitely one that I've been really looking forward to seeing, just for that fact of how has she infiltrated into this group and not been like every other human, just mind wiped. But going forward with the series, I do need it to kind of start picking up the pace, and I want to feel like more is happening. I want to feel more grit. I think the Harley series, is it like 8 books or 8 or 10 books? I'm like pretty much at the halfway point, so I really need it to really kick up a gear, especially as I don't know if this Catherine Shipton storyline is one that's going to be the entire of Harley's, or if we're going to have like half and half, so like the first 4 or 5 might be Catherine's and then the rest could be the fallout from it or something else. Like, I don't know if hers is going to spread across all of her books. So yeah, I need it just to ramp up a little bit more. But yeah, so far they are quite good. They're an easy listen, and I imagine they would be an easy read as well. The way that the world building has been presented has worked really well. So I am going to go take off my makeup and go get changed, because Gavin will be here in a bit, and we're going to go finish watching Hell on Wheels, the final series. I say finish it might be optimistic, but we're really close to finishing it, and hopefully I can convince him to cook me mac and cheese. Happy bonfire night. So yes, I'm off out tonight for bonfire night. I will do my best to try and get some footage of just stuff, because my local town always does a display. And they were setting up food stalls when I left work, so I was like, yes. I think I might wear this jumper. I don't know, I might go for my other black one, because I was thinking about wearing my big teddy bear coat. We will see, I don't know. I'm actually nearly finished with the Death of Skulls. I had like nearly 2 hours, I'd say, of reading on Wednesday, and it felt so good to just sit and read a massive chunk. And I love the pacing, I love the writing style. I really love a lot about this book, considering I've only ever read her middle grade literature. Her young adult, really good. I absolutely love it, and to be honest, I kind of thought I would. I know I said that I wanted a multiple point of view between the two sisters. Honestly, I'm actually kind of glad I don't have Kizzy's point of view. I don't like her. I find her very frustrating, I won't lie. So the book is pretty quick pace. It starts off when it's meant to be their divining. They then get taken by slavers, and then I feel like they're a month held captive. A lot of what's coming is kind of set up in the sense of like the dragon and sort of the pacts that he has with the other barons / lords who own land, sort of thing, and it's clear that they give off sacrifices, and then they have a very short time as servers, and basically Kizzy is given as a gift. He sort of the lord who they're with, he kind of insults another, but a situation happens, and basically that other lord is like, you know what, I'm gonna take that girl as like sort of payment and an apology. And so off Kizzy gets taken, and Lil decides that obviously that ain't happening, so she escapes and she goes off with another slave girl and another traveler from her camp. They go off. So right now they are currently traveling, and they are on a rescue mission to go get Kizzy. They are pretty much now at the border of Dracula's land. They are pretty much there. I'm really close now. I'm gonna say like 70%, maybe 80%. I am kind of preparing myself for the fact of that the end of this book is either going to end with Kizzy is already gone and she's become one of these deathless girls, or possibly all 3 girls might end up heading that way. When they traveled, this is the thing I really like, there's lots of sort of lore and mythology that I'm hoping is real or kind of based on real, but when they were traveling back to go north, they go through their camp that was destroyed by the slavers, and where her mother's ashes were, these mushrooms have grown in different colours, and she ate one, and Lil had this vision, and she pretty much had a vision of how to get to Dracula's castle, and she also kind of a had a vision of Kizzy tied to Dracula, and she said that there was like this red like vein or like tongue connecting the two of them from each other's mouths. So I really like that it's kind of very heavily symbolizing, and although, you know, not outright they're saying it's Dracula, he is called the dragon, and where they've gotten to the border of his lands there are people impaled on spikes. So I really like that. But the more I read this book and the more I look at the cover, I'm seeing more and more things. Like there are thorns coming off the top branches that clearly are fangs with blood dripping, and then you've got the spires of his castle at the bottom, which are clearly fangs as well. There's just so many things like that I'm now picking up and seeing. So whether or not she's even going to get to see her sister, if it's going to be too late, I have no idea. But I really like this book. It hasn't gone in a direction I had expected, but so far I really recommend this book. My god. As for Harley Merlin, the balance between the two point of views has been very Harley one side. Like it feels like it's really in blocks, whereas I feel like the other books it wasn't like that. However, what we did get in Astrid's block, I was like, oh, and I texted my friend because I was like, I wasn't expecting this, and she said, yeah, me neither, I guess everything, I so didn't see it coming. And it was almost like such an obvious plot thing that I was like, well, they're not going to use it. And yeah, I just was like sat there, or I think I was still getting my makeup, and I was like, wait, what did they just say? I am enjoying it. It is early days, I'm not that far into it, so the main plot of the book hasn't yet to be established, but she is trying to get hold of her parents' unfinished grimoire to see if she can find anything that can help them in regards to Catherine. But so far it's fine, but yeah, I don't like how unevenly the point of views seem to be. Anyway, I'm gonna finish getting ready, and then yeah, hopefully I will be able to show you some bonfire footage. I finished The Deathless Girls, and I really recommend that you pick this up. It is so good. I loved it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, only because I didn't get the ending that I personally would have wanted. Not to say that like the ending wasn't good. My edition includes a bonus chapter which takes place when Dracula does, and I really appreciate that bonus chapter because reading it I was like, oh, I think I know what's coming. I kind of suddenly just had a thought, I think I know what's coming. And just to see how just everything's changed from, I guess, say, yeah, when Dracula is at his height and he has all these other lords making pacts with them with like the sacrifices, to where Dracula is in the book, where he has kind of fallen into myth, I guess. And, you know, the local villagers are obviously aware that there is something kind of creepy going on there. But yeah, it is obviously two very different places. And it's one of those things I would love an in-between book in which really explains how that happens. Like, well, I suppose like, yeah, actually maybe the ending does explain that. Thinking about it, the ending quite possibly does explain how we've gotten that to that point, but there's always, I can't give anything away, this is so difficult. If you read this, please DM me because I really want to talk about it, because oh my god, I didn't get the ending I want. I just think everything that Lil went through, especially once they were taken into slavery, because her and Kizzy had such different ways of surviving, I guess, and different ways of adapting, and just how they were. Kizzy was very much, it's just the two of us, whereas Lil was a bit more like, look, these may be like settled people, but they're also in slavery too. You know, there is no harm in actually talking to people other than us. Kizzy just had this constant, I feel, just anger and constant just undertone of frustration, which obviously, you know, you're in slavery, your life has been taken from you. And I think, you know, not to say she thinks she's better than her sister, but she's always been prettier. She like her, like, Lil follows Kizzy around, she's like her shadow, so I guess to have that kind of taken from her, I guess is hard for her. And it's one of those things, because unfortunately, because they come as a pair, if she steps out of line, they're gonna beat her sister. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have such an easy way of trying to subdue her. At one point I did think, oh, I do really wish I did have Kizzy's point of view, but again, I wasn't fond of Kizzy. I just really wasn't. I didn't really care if she lived or died. I just think how she was, it was almost like she was just disappointed in Lil's reaction to it all, and everyone has their way of surviving. And as we know, you might wonder, you know, were working in the fields, and the same can be said of like actual slavery. Why didn't the slaves use those tools and rise up? And it's like, and you know, do you not think people have tried? And you can see why it hasn't worked, because they'll punish others. They might have families, they'll be punished. And you know, even if you managed to get your way out of where you are, you still got the rest of the fucking world to try and like navigate. It was really good. I just think I would have liked a different ending, and I think the ending I was hoping for, and which could have been potential, I think would have been really cool. Again, I can't say what I wanted, but you know, I still think it was really outstanding. I love her writing. I'm now really excited to read The Mercies, which is more of an adult book. I mean, even saying that this was like young adult, I still don't think the writing style leans to a more immature or dumbed down way. I really don't think it does. But yeah, I really recommend that you read it. I truly do. So next up, I'm going to be reading The Woods Are Always Watching. I'm really excited for that one. It's very short, and I'm really hoping that it is short and packs a punch, and that there's going to be no preamble. We're going to get straight into it, the journey into the woods. I'm really interested to see if it's going to alternate between both girls' perspectives, if it's just going to be one of those writing styles where it overarches both girls but kind of swaps between how they're feeling or whatever. And yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to tear them apart. I haven't seen a lot of it on Instagram, seeing as it's new. I've seen some positive things, but I mean, I didn't want to look too much into it anyway, because obviously it's so new. I might have just seen a wave of just positive reviews, but I liked her other one. It was a little bit teeny at points for me, and I felt that like the big secret that she was hiding wasn't that bad in comparison to what I was potentially thinking. Yeah, I do have high hopes for it though. I really want it to be good, especially I think because it's small. I don't know, I just want it to be good. So let's talk The Woods Are Always Watching. So I've been meaning to check in and properly be like, this is what I'm reading, but it's just been a bit of a busy, chaotic week. Gavin's off on his travels, oh god, today actually, Saturday. So I've sort of just been trying to spend as much time as I can with him, whilst also like letting him get on and pack. So yeah, yesterday was like the last day I got to spend any time with him, and he was pretty much like packing and arranging stuff for like 2 to 3 hours, and I was just sat there like just watching TV. But it's fine. Let us talk this book. So this is the book about the two best friends, Nina and Josie, who are not exactly outsiders, but they pretty much only have each other as friends, and they've hit the end of high school and college university looms, and they decide to go off and have like a sort of big adventure together before they both go to university. Nina is traveling away. She's going, I think, like, what is this on the back? Yep, 2,000 miles. They're about to separate them, and yeah, their lives are gonna pretty much completely change, considering that neither of them have friends outside of this group. And whilst Josie is staying home, her only friend and only real like anything is leaving. So going into this, I was kind of thinking that either the woods are gonna be creepy and supernaturally and gonna be freaking them out, or just this is gonna test them. They're gonna be picking each other apart, they're gonna start arguing, and there also might be like something or a presence. I mean, I know I would freak out going cat. I know I would be like, we're gonna die out here. So I feel like that could be fueling them anyway. But I also was thinking maybe they're gonna drink water from like the wrong stream, and they might start tripping and stuff like that. So I kind of had a whole host of options as to what I thought this book could be. So I've started reading it, obviously. I am currently on page 121, so I'm well over halfway now. I know I said I meant to catch up and check in. I forgot, okay. What the blurb doesn't really give you is that these two friends are vastly different. Nina is a little bit more outgoing. This idea, this holiday, this trip is Nina's suggestion. They've always put themselves away from the others. Not in a sense that they think they're better, but like they just don't want to do what other kids in their local area do, pretty much. And she's kind of thinking, you know, have we missed out on any of the experiences? Should we have gone out with them like when they went off to wherever? So it was her idea that they should go on this trail, and Josie is a catastrophizer. Oh my god, I just choked. Holy shit. Oh my god. Josie is a catastrophizer. Her dad died, and ever since then it has been a real downhill, just bad. Her mum has pretty much never recovered from it, and Josie hasn't either. Literally everything is we need to have this. And to be fair, yeah, I'm with her on the, you know, like they have to carry 2 liters of water with them a day. They have to ration that throughout the day so that by the end of the day they have enough to cook with, to clean with, to like rinse out when they like brush their teeth, like all that stuff, and then have an emergency amount during the night before they can refill the next day. So don't get me wrong, I'm with her on that, but yeah, it is very much she doesn't want to go. She really does not want to go. This is like her worst nightmare, and I'm with her. There are potentially bears in the wood, and Nina you do learn, like, although it's not told specifically from their points of views, you do learn the sort of how they feel towards each other, like, and in regards to things like in Nina's case, whenever she tries to bring up university, Josie almost acts like a petulant child and shuts it down. And in Nina's case, you learn things like, you know, she's terrified. She's going off from a small town to a big city. She's terrified of that. She doesn't know anyone. She's literally going to be on her own. She's never experienced that kind of life, but she feels like she can't talk to Josie about it because Josie just like ends the conversation. And then Josie is the other way in that it's that she's leaving me, and it's really sad that she can't be happy for her friend and can't want to talk to her about it, because yeah, if I was in Nina's position, I'd be shit my pants too. I would be I would not be having a good time mentally. I'd be in a really bad place. So it's really sad because she's like, you know, I'm gonna be stuck here with these people, I'm gonna be stuck. It's very much woe is me, like, it's terrible. So you do really start to learn the real ins and outs of their relationship, and not exactly resentments they have to each other, but yeah. And this book kind of went the way that I thought, you know, they are, to say inexperienced really isn't even the word. Yeah, they are like severely inexperienced. They don't know what they're doing. Her brother and her dad were massive outdoorsy people, so Wynne has basically created this trail for Josie and Nina to follow. He's given them like maps. Everything they're taking with them belongs to him and his girlfriend, and yeah, he has said you can either go this way, this way. He's kind of let them sort of pick their routes, but he's really been like, don't take that, it's extra weight, you could do this, and oh yeah, make sure you bury your food over there in case the bears find it. Like, he's really like given them everything because they don't know what they're doing, and they soon learn the I mean, why you would think that you could do this if you've never done it before is ridiculous. And yeah, so to begin with, it's kind of fun and games, and a little bit it does feel like Nina is having to prod Josie to like, this could be fun, it'll be fine and whatever. And very quickly, like, I didn't expect it to be this quick, because this book only pretty much, I'm guessing, is going to take place over the 3 days of the hike. I thought it might have started a little bit before that, but obviously given the size it makes sense, and honestly I'm quite grateful for it, because on the hike everything is kind of fun. Day one is fine, and that is where you do start to learn, like I said, the ins and outs of their relationship and what they're kind of like. Very quickly it turns quite sour, like very quickly, and it's things like Nina just like drinks the water, like rationed water, like she just can't help herself, she's like chugging away, and you can see the things that would niggle at you in both sides of this friendship. Like in this case, Josie's like, stop drinking it all, stop it, and then she's like, oh god, like sorry. And then it gets to the point, you know, when they have to set up camp, that yeah, Nina's like got no water left and they have to now rely on Josie's water. You can see where these things would pick at you, and yeah, it's everything, like their home lives, their upbringings, their backgrounds all kind of come together, and you see them very differently from each other's point of views. And you know, Josie's life only became better because of Nina and her families. I a little bit of resentment, not gonna lie. Yeah, it goes south very quickly, and it does have the arguments, and then by day 2 it's like daggers at dawn, and it's kind of fun. And I'm sat there reading it quite uncomfortable, because when they go for it, when they have that first argument, oh, it's low blows. It's quite awkward to read, and I loved it. It's not to say it's really cringy and really teenagery, but they're getting it off their chests. And wow, you know, just thinking, oh, you're going deep. And I was just sat there like, this is uncomfortable. Like, I'm not even in this book, and this is really uncomfortable, and I loved it. And then you do have the moments of there's something out there, and it is that it could just be a deer, it's probably nothing, could be a madman with an axe, you never know. And that's what I really like about this, because it is that sudden, they don't know what they're doing, and it's all fun and games in the daylight until you have to set up a tent, and then it's nighttime and you have to go pee in the woods at night on your own, and it's suddenly, oh. And at one point, yeah, Nina gets turned around because there's loads of fog, and yeah, it's really unsettling. It's really cleverly done that it could well just be nothing. At the point I'm at now, oh good lord. So this began with the title Together, so it was, and I was thinking, well, how's this gonna go? And I've hit halfway, and it's now apart, and the two girls have had to separate from each other. I can't say why. It is so good. If you saw my stories, you may have read a passage that was like, I'm gonna vomit. So good. Don't even know how this is gonna go at this point. I don't even know if there is gonna be something in the woods, whether this is just the woods challenging these two idiot people who thought this would be a good idea, but it is now becoming a test of their friendship. Like day 1 absolutely just obliterated it, and not what I thought. I kind of thought it would just slowly build. I thought it would slowly build. I didn't expect it to really just implode so fast, and it's been fun. it has been so fun because it's been so awkward. This is one of these books where I'm really excited to pick it up and read it. Gavin had to go sign some papers to do because he's getting a new car when he gets back from holiday. He's like, oh, do you want to come in with me? And I was like, no, I'm gonna sit in the car and read. And he's like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, the point I just got to my lunch break, I need to keep going. I was like, I can't stop. I just think them attacking each other has just been hilarious. I don't know, but yeah, I think, yeah, I know I said I was worried because it was a smaller book, but so far it is really packing a punch. Hey guys, so one last check-in. So obviously I said that I had finished my other book yesterday, The Woods Are Always Watching, and today I'm starting The Glass Women. So this book is definitely a different pick for me, for sure. I don't even know what drew me to this, but something did. But yeah, it is very different to what I would normally read. I adore the cover. So I'm literally just going to read the blurb for you because it will just be easier than me trying to recall things. 1686 Iceland, a cold, windswept land where they talk of witches and fear strangers. When Rosa is betrothed to John Eriksson, she is sent to a remote village where she finds a man who will not speak of his recently deceased first wife. The villagers view Rosa's arrival with suspicion. Isolated and disturbed by her husband's strange behaviour, her fears deepen. What is making the strange sound in the locked attic? Who does the mysterious glass figure she's given represent? And why do the villagers talk of the coming darkness in hushed tones? Coming winter darkness. One of the things I did see is that this is kind of Icelandic witch trials, so I'm like, oh, hello. And on the front it does say an Icelandic Jane Eyre. I found Jane Eyre fine. I would have liked it to have a little more something, but I did actually quite enjoy it. But yeah, this is just very different for me. I feel like this is definitely more me trying to branch out into adult fiction. Oh my god, I can't use my words. Trying to branch out into adult fiction. I'm obviously definitely a YA kind of girl, but I do want to read more. Although to be fair, quite a few that I have read have been adult and I just haven't realised it. So I am really looking forward to reading this. I just didn't know what to read after The Woods Are Always Watching. I was quite not surprised that I finished it, but it's just been a really good reading month for me, so it's a bit like, where do I go from here? So I feel like I'm being a little bit ambitious with my picks, so hopefully I will get it done before the end of the month. Harley Merlin wise, the way the book was going, it felt like it was wrapping up, and I looked at it the other day and I still had like 3 hours left, so it feels quite nice that it felt like kind of things were tailing off, and actually it feels like there's a little bit more to come. A few more things have been revealed, and again, a lot of stuff I actually didn't see coming. I know I said this before, and finding out more stuff about Astrid I've been very happy about, and we are getting close, I think, to figuring out how Catherine is planning on becoming a child of chaos and what it's going to involve in these rituals. It's one of these things that I quite like where, you know, mythology and legends, you know, are rooted in truth, so it's trying to read through the lines of these old books and stories to figure out actually how it could be done, and especially with the whole idea that, you know, Harley's surname is Merlin. There's also been mention of a Le Fay, and so it's things like there are certain families like that, like Morgan Le Fay and actual Merlin, who were around back then. And it's also really interesting that they are definitely going down the approach of like light and dark magic doesn't mean you are inherently good or evil. There are people who lean more to the darker side, like there is a character who has a djinn in him, so he is a darker magic, but he himself, he is a good person. It's that, yeah, you just assume one way or the other, and the Merlins have a history of some being dark, some being light. However, there are some people who've been on the side of light who've done some awful things, and there are some people who've on the side of dark who don't, so you can balance it out. It's really interesting. I really appreciate the extra and like the detail and all of that world building, and I really appreciate the fact that it is just not like bogged down. I don't feel like I'm wading through lots of information. I don't feel like I'm wading through lots of people's past and like just the magical past. Like I really appreciate how she's really cleverly layered it and just presented it in a way that just doesn't suddenly feel like, holy shit, I'm being weighed down. I just feel like this book and this series, I guess, is just gonna stay, for me, quite average. I just think it's an easy read and listen. I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's ramping up to what I want. However, I'm not gonna quit, and I probably will continue on with the rest. So Finch, and I can't remember the newest one. It's a girl, I remember that much. I just feel like, yeah, it will just be a, you know what, I feel like in amongst having maybe heavier and more darker, or just, yeah, a heavier book and more complex thing, it's quite nice to just have something that is easy and is quite simple and just doesn't feel like your brain is being fried. However, as they go on, they could just completely change and become more. Anyway, thanks for getting this far. If you enjoyed this video and want to hit that like button, do that. And if you want to subscribe, do that too, and never miss a video. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next one.